Hello, everyone. Welcome to the latest episode of the Laurel Leader Call Sports Show. I'm your host, Jack Fairchilds. Unfortunately, we're going to be missing our brother, Josh Guru Nichols, who dealing with a unspeakable tragedy. Again, he's our coworker, but he's more than our coworker. He's our friend. He's our brother. He's somebody that we all love dearly, and we're keeping him in our thoughts and prayers. I'm going to throw to Kevan Lindsey and let him give his own thoughts and prayers real quick.
Hey guys, obviously this somber note, as Jack talked about. I've been searching for words to say since I heard about passing of Alyssa Sunday. All I really want to keep it short, as short as I can, by just simply saying that I'm so sorry to everyone who knew her. I've seen all over social media people who have met her and have known her, and everybody says the same thing. Her personality and the woman that she was just infectious to know. And it sucks. It truly sucks. I wrote a column that'll be in the paper Saturday, kind of describing my thoughts more on it and how I feel there. But I just want to say, Guru, love you, miss you. And then to Reed and Marley, so sorry. I'm so sorry. I wasn't as young as what those two kids were, but I lost my dad at a pretty young age, and it's tough when you lose a parent at a time whenever you're going through life and you're growing and you're doing all that. And I just want to say that I'm so sorry, and you're definitely in my thoughts and prayers every day. Rode the route last night, and that took a lot of my time thinking about them and all of that. But again, praying for you. Love you guys. And if you need anything, just let me know. So,
amen, brother. I mean, it's just unthinkable. I think you said it just flat out sucks. And, we definitely miss our brother, and we're praying for him, and we hope to have him back real soon. We did find someone to fill in for him this week, so it is still going to be a threesome here on this show, as we have our good friend of Guru's as well, former Leader Call employee himself.
Yeah, back in the day.
He is the current Fellowship of Christian Athletes Jones County board chairman.
That's right.
So he is a
former coach,
former basketball coach in multiple areas, all over the state. So he is pretty familiar with the athletes in Jones County as part of your role at the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, dog. So I know you, before we get into actual topics today, you wanted to say a couple of words to Guru.
Well, we've been trying to get me to get up here, doing football even, and just didn't work out schedule wise. But, I appreciate y'all letting me fill in. Wish it was under better situations and better circumstances. I'm real good friends with Guru, real good friends with Alyssa, Reed, and Marley. Marley and my daughter grew up together in the youth group growing up, and it's a very tough situation, and I know we want to move on, but I just want to say I do wish I was here under better circumstances, but I just pray for all of them. Just pray, anything like this happens, it's a tragic, sudden death and unexpected. I just pray that God will give them a comfort and peace that only He can. And so, again, I'm just glad I'm able to fill in for Guru. Hope I do him good.
Hey, thank you for coming, and amen to that sentiment as well. Sadly, we have to go on, Kevin, and I know you got to be a part of something special Friday night.
It's a doozy, man.
Yeah, you were at Northeast Jones while they were playing Van Cleve, and they were able to beat Van Cleve on Friday night to clinch Region 4 5A. Amazing run that these Tigers are on, and we'll get to that once we get to the playoff picks. But Kevin, just kind of I read your article,
Yeah.
Crazy game.
Yeah.
You even had a guest appearance from another team there. So kind of walk me through Friday night.
Yeah. So I'll preface this by saying this. Every one of us, I think, has been in here, or at least at some point with West versus South, and how those games were. And I know you've been when they've been in different regions and classifications, but I think Dog has been around whenever they were in the same region, they were in the same classification.
Yeah.
District title would be on the line, things like that. And it got wild out there, whether it was on the reservation, whether it was at West Jones, and so it got crazy. This was one of those games that took me back. That whenever I got in the car and sat down, I was like, "Holy smokes! What did I just watch?" Because I'll just break it down from you. From the start, you could tell it was a different atmosphere. They had youth night and they had all the little kids out there, but once they got off and everything was going and all, it was intense. And Northeast Jones jumps out to a quick lead, and there was a spot in there where you had a Van Cleve runner. He was coming to home. Catcher Logan Altman and him were going to collide. It was inevitable, and the kid from Van Cleve gets up and apparently didn't like the call, and he gets up in the umpire's face, and they kind of go at it. Coaches get him back, and from that point on, it just went crazy. I think and I feel like for the most part, the umpires, because there was only, besides that game, there was only one more regular season game. If you get suspended, you're suspended for 2 games, which means you would be out the first game of the playoffs. And I feel like the umpires were trying to do their best to not kick any kids out because of that. But it keeps going on, and we go through the game, and you had a Northeast Jones player on third. He was attempting to steal home, and the Van Cleve pitcher balked, which if you're trying to steal home and the pitcher balks, it's an automatic run. It's what actually gave Northeast Jones the lead, if I'm not mistaken. And apparently the pitcher did not think he balked. I saw it. He balked. And the run ends up scoring, obviously, because third base, or the guy on third is stealing. And the pitcher just goes crazy. He's having to be held back by players, and then the coach comes running out there, the head coach. I mean, it was just scene after scene after scene. Meanwhile, I think, I'm pretty sure this was already going on. Stone, who had just beaten Wayne County, and they needed Northeast Jones to beat Van Cleve to get in. Stone had brought their whole team and coaching staff, and they were sitting in left field, filled up the left field bleachers, and they're cheering this on, and they're just agging it on. And it ends up, I didn't realize it, but the head coach did get thrown out. And it was just crazy. It was absolutely nuts. I'm surprised the pitcher didn't get thrown out. I mean, he was having to be held back by multiple teammates. And I will say this, and I'm saying this is from what I saw. Northeast Jones did nothing. I'm proud to say they did nothing that I seen to insinuate this. You had the runner reacting to the dugout who was cheering. He was looking strictly at the dugout, cheering like any kid would do. I don't know if he said something or the pitcher thought he'd said something. I really don't know. It was just seemed to me like Van Cleve was just had a chip on their shoulder.
They're jerks. I mean, I'll go ahead and say it. I've been down there and seen it firsthand. Van Cleve is a bunch of jerks.
It was rough, man. It was rough. I will say, I'm very proud. I will gladly say this. I'm very proud about how Coach McKeever's team handled everything. They didn't try to go out there. They didn't. Normally, if this would have been probably a lot of other teams, a fight would have broke out. That didn't happen. McKeever kept talking about it's us, it's us, it's us. We don't worry about it. And then the entire time you just had Stone over here just cheering on Northeast. It was crazy. The umpires even asked, like, what is the Stone or the Van Cleve fans doing out there? Because they had similar colors. And I was like, man, that's Stone. and so it was just a crazy thing. Right, Melanie Keys Pickering, she just commented that they called a ball. The pitcher disagreed, and it brought in a run. That's exactly right. It just evolved. But again, Northeast Jones ends up winning that game 7-6. And they're hot. They go down there. I'll say here, I did not think Northeast Jones was going to go down there the next day and win, just because of how we
The
know
emotion, yeah.
we know how it is whenever you go down to a Van Cleve or somewhere.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough to win because the odds are going to be stacked against you. But then they come down there and they win 6-1.
Yeah.
And they close them out. Because of that, Stone gets in the playoffs. They're happy. Northeast Jones, their third straight district title.
I'm friends with Stone's head baseball coach. I've known him for years, Adam Dice, who busted his team up there Friday night and watched that game, which I thought was funny when he told me he did that. Because here's the common denominator that nobody really likes Van Cleve.
Well, I can tell you, it sounds like not much has changed since I was down there 15 years ago or so. But, I coached Pascagoula for 5 years. Of course, I was a boys basketball coach, but there's two schools down there, Van Cleve. I'm not going to name the other one, but they're coming to South tomorrow night to play baseball. But anyway,
you just named them.
I was being funny. But those two schools, East Central and Van Cleve, they have always, they're coast schools, but they're the country coast schools. And they've always had that kind of rough around the edge attitude. They want to be accepted. They want to be better than what they think they are, and they are competitive. But and it stems from like I said, that attitude's been down there for a long, long time because I've seen it, coached against it in basketball, seen it in baseball, seen it in softball. So it's that doesn't surprise me at all.
It's crazy, and I said this to Kevin. I wouldn't say it last week when I knew Northeast still had to play them.
Yeah.
But now that Van Cleve's been eliminated from the playoffs, if there was an area of the coast that you would just consider to be the trailer park, it would be Van Cleve.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh my goodness.
Well, in the last several years, there's a 2-3, I guess, stretch there that the South had to play them in the playoffs.
That's when I got to experience.
Yeah, Van Cleve gave them fits. There were some good ball games.
Well, it's just the way that their fans act down there. The way even some of the I had words with a deputy down there that was dropping F-bombs around kids, and that frustrated.
I've seen it. I saw it many years ago. I've seen it.
So I have no love for that, and I didn't grow up in this area.
Right.
I grew up north of here, so I didn't have to face off against coast teams.
Yeah.
My experience with Van Cleve is more recent.
You had that other V rivalry where you were from.
We dominated that. We dominated Vicksburg High. They were not. They weren't really. They were a rival, but you coached at Warren Central.
I did.
Vicksburg didn't have much success against Warren Central in anything.
Yeah.
So. But anyway, it's one of those, and I'll say this, I would take Vicksburg High fans over Van Cleve fans any day.
Oh yeah, you're talking about two totally different types of people. Oh yeah, no doubt.
So Van Cleve.
Look, Jack is going in. We don't. Oh,
I held back last week.
Censoring.
Yeah.
So we just had someone say that you guys are ruthless. Like Jack is the one throwing around what he's saying about Van Cleve. I will say this, Van Cleve, man, y'all need some therapy or something.
Counseling. Yeah. Yeah, maybe step outside of the trailer park every once in a
Oh my goodness.
But it sounded like it was awesome. I was very, very pleased to see Northeast not just sweep them, but keep them out of the playoffs as well. That was awesome. I'm happy to see those kids win that region. Especially after midseason report, we gave them a D.
Yeah,
and they took that personal, and I'm
good for them. Good for them.
Really happy for them. We'll talk a little bit more about their turnaround when we come back to the end of the show when we start picking these games. So it's a exciting time there in the jungle. So we'll get back to them, but we also had in back-to-back games for USM. We had Jones County kids start. Camden Clark from West Jones started Sunday, right?
Sunday.
He started Sunday's game. He's been USM's closer for most of the season. They gave him the start. Cole Richardson from South Jones, he got the start last night. Both had various degrees of success. Cole had a really good first inning, second inning got a little rough, but still to see these young men who are both outstanding young men. I mean, they're both quality kids, and to see them get their first collegiate start, it's the first of many, I believe. I don't think that this will be the last time you see them start. I'll go ahead and say before I go to you, Kevin, one of the best high school baseball games I ever saw was a West Jones versus South Jones matchup when both of these two were seniors. It ended up being 1-0. South won it late. They were able to get it. I think it went extras, if I'm remembering.
Yeah, I was there if I remember right.
I think
correctly.
you were.
Yeah.
And it was just incredible. These two pitchers were just going toe to toe, strikeout after strikeout. You just knew it was going to come down to who either made a mistake or who blinked first. And in this instance, South got the win. But I mean, it was one of those games. At the end of it, you were like, man, I really didn't want anybody to lose because it was so good and so competitive. So I'm so happy to see both of them having success. So happy to see them as teammates now and not having to go up against each other anymore. Kevin, what was your thought on our two local boys getting their first starts?
Yeah, this is actually the second part of my column for Saturday. It's just, if you look down this Southern Miss roster, there's so much local talent just from around this area, not even counting just counties that are right next to us, border counties like Jasper County. Then you got Sumrall kid who actually came in for Richardson. He came in right after. I mean, there is just so much talent in this area that goes on to play the USM. You've seen the list that I made for just JUCO and everywhere else. We have so much talent that comes out of Jones County and the surrounding counties that is littered all over the state. And to see, I would love to go back and see if I could find out, has two back-to-back Jones County has started at the D1 level like that. Because I would think that this would be the first time that's ever happened.
Or at least the first time in a long time.
Yeah, it would be the first time in a very, very long time. And then you have Dylan Causey, who's made starts. He's made starts against SEC teams. I mean, you
started against Ole Miss, didn't he? Or was it State? Yeah, it was Ole Miss.
Yeah. Or it might have been State. I can't remember.
I know he started against Alabama. That was his first start.
That's what it was, Alabama.
Yeah, and I mean, Cole has seen action against Mississippi State. I'm pretty sure he saw action against one of them. Saw action against Ole Miss. I mean, this team and this group of guys, it shows just how much talent there is around here. I mean, just it's unreal.
And there may be more to come because you've got the current crop of seniors. You've also got a wealth at the JUCO level that USM, Ole Miss, State could farm from. So there's so much more to come from Jones County kids playing baseball. I mean, dog, you've watched these kids grow up through FCA.
To me, what I love to talk about, and this is the things that I like, Cam and Cole both come from really, really good families. And both of their dads were really, really good baseball players. Both played college. Friends with both of them. Cole's dad, Reggie, he played at Jones and actually coached at Jones and coached at William Carey. So that's in the bloodline, and we can talk about this more when we get down to the playoffs too. But that's another thing I just like is, baseball in Jones County is always, even back when I was growing up and playing, and with Cambridge and Chamberlain, the farm system, if you will, the youth system here in Jones County, baseball is pushed, it's emphasized, it's big. From when they start playing 6, 7, 8 years old, we got a really good system. So as y'all just touched on, there's a lot of good baseball players come out of Jones County. Baseball is really good, and you're seeing that with obviously all three of our teams in the playoffs here. Yeah,
I mean it's a fun time to watch, and again, I'm excited for these kids. I'm excited for all of our kids who get a shot at the next level, and I think that we're going to see even more and more Jones County natives going on to that next level because the programs are just they're moving in the right direction. No matter how this season ends for any of them, they're all moving in the right direction. Of course, NFL draft starts tomorrow, so we do want to talk a little bit about that. It's a good time to kind of get back into the football swing of things because it's going to be right around the corner. Kevin's now a big women's flag football fan, as you
Hey,
heard
yeah,
last week.
Laurel's legit, man.
You
They
know.
just finally gave up their first points of the year.
That's so disappointing. I was hoping they'd
6.
shut out the season.
6 whole points.
But again, with the NFL draft coming tomorrow, of course, we all know that the Heisman Trophy winner Mendoza is expected to be the number 1 pick tomorrow and this still sounds weird to say, the Las Vegas Raiders. That doesn't sound
No, that's
right, And they've been there for a couple of years, but I still want to call them the Oakland Raiders.
Like the
growing
San Diego
up, I was a
Chargers.
big Oakland Raiders fan. They were back in the day. They were the team.
But he's expected to be the pick, and I got questions here because while I like what Mendoza did in college, I think he's going to be a good player, but is he a number 1 worthy pick? And is it good for him or anybody as a quarterback to have to go to this dysfunctional organization known as the Raiders? Dog, I guess I'll start with you and we'll let Kevin wrap up. You watched him play in college. You saw what he could. Do you think, from what you've seen, do you think he's a number 1 worthy pick?
I think, obviously, there were doubts about him all the way even through this past season.
Yeah.
And with their schedule and who they played, and then, but of course, we can't take this from them. They proved everybody wrong, the team and him. And so he's such a solid person too. I think another thing, you talk about a dysfunctional team, that might be something they're looking at. Who knows? We might say, hey, we can draft this guy and he ain't going to bring any more drama to us that we already bring to ourselves. He's a solid guy. And so, I think the talent is there. And of course, if we're looking at quarterbacks, of course, I like Ty too, but if they're looking for a quarterback first pick, I don't see how you could go wrong with him. He's proved it when we got into the playoffs that he can handle it against the toughest competition. So
He didn't choke against Miami that chud at Ole Miss. That's just a shot at
I don't
Dog.
think that was the quarterback that choked.
I do not think that Trinidad Jambliss is a chud. That was a joke at Dog's expense. But anyway, I see your point, but Kevin, I think you probably got a different point.
Yeah. I will say this. I think if you're probably the top 5 in this draft, I'm of this, whatever team it may be, with the Raiders especially, they have so many holes. I am a pro trade back and gather picks.
Build that offensive line before you get the quarterback.
Unless you think that Mendoza is the out of the park, home run, Andrew Luck, game changer, dynasty quarterback, I'm of the opinion you trade back and you get picks, because it's very rare that one quarterback is going to change the course of your entire franchise.
It's interesting that you used Andrew Luck as your example, because I think he's an example of why you do trade, because Indianapolis wasn't ready, and I think the offensive line was kind of softer for him, and that led to his injuries and cut his career short.
It led to his injuries, but don't forget, they went to an immediate playoff.
They
team.
did.
I think that's a good point too, because obviously if you're picking first, you need more than one position, more than one player. You need a lot of help. So that's a good point.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion, unless you're the Browns, who had they had tons of picks and wasted them all.
They probably drafted all quarterbacks with every pick.
Well, the last quarterback to win a playoff game for them, they released him. So, they let him go. So, and then he's starting for Tampa Bay. So,
they traded for a guy that really, really loves massages, I'm told.
I guess
got rid of the guy that won him a playoff game. So.
Yeah. So, I'm of the opinion, though, that you trade back unless you think that Mendoza is the absolute game changer. I agree with Dog, though. I mean, that mentality that he has,
Yeah.
of being a culture changer. That might be just what they need to get some of that dysfunction out of the locker room or whatever.
Well, it definitely can't hurt.
Right.
Not with a kid like that. It definitely cannot hurt. He's not going to go in there and I think just lose his mind like a Manziel or somebody.
Well, he won't lose his mind, but the problem that you can run into if you draft a quarterback and you don't have the means to protect him,
Yeah.
he can develop bad habits because nobody likes getting hit.
Right.
And if it happens repeatedly,
Yeah.
you're going to rush throws. You're going to do things that you wouldn't normally
Well, you
do.
got to have a line because, as you can see, there's not a whole lot of scrambling in NFL. They're pocket passers, so you definitely have to have a line to protect him.
Yep.
And the Raiders obviously need a lot of help, so
Yep.
a lot of positions.
Oh, goodness. Well, before we move into other issues here as well, we've got we teased this 2 weeks ago. We just didn't get a chance to get into it because we wanted to talk a little bit about the NIL because we know with college football coming right around the corner, there are going to be a lot of familiar faces in new places. And that's all because of this NIL, the transfer portal, the fact that kids are now getting 6, 7, 8 years of eligibility.
6, 7.
No,
Oh,
no,
mercy.
Kevin,
Oh,
no. It's not his dreaded, so he's not getting muted yet, but he's working on it. He's working on his mute. But the NIL is definitely ruining college athletics as a whole, college football, college basketball. I mean, you name it. The transfer portal's right there with it because the fact that, this kid can be a superstar at school A one year and next year he's at school B. Yeah. And it just, we need to figure out ways to rein this in. It is the wild, wild west right now in college sports. And that's a problem. And for me personally, it's taken away a lot of my enjoyment. I used to be one of those turn on game day, first things that sit in front and watch as many games. I may pick one or two games. I'm not as interested because again, it's hard to invest when you know that this kid that you're rooting for that's a part of your team next year is probably going to be on another team. And the year after that on another team.
Well, I put a lot of thought into this, and I've got an opinion on this. And, of course, the NIL and transfer portal, you're talking about two different things. I'll say this first. It's a complete disaster. It's a zoo. But I will say this because I was thinking about it. The NIL, for one, as college athletes getting paid, I'd have loved to have been a fly on the wall in the NCAA committee hearings when they first brought this up because I was thinking, if you go back to my day, and I grew up watching this, but if you go back to my, back, I don't know, 20, 30 years ago, before
40 or 50.
Before the portal and all that crap, you had players actually staying in college 4 years, and they couldn't get paid whatsoever. They could have a little summer job maybe in the off season, but that was tough. And so you had a part. Well, kids deserve something because look, think about it. Majority of people in college, that's where they meet their spouse. I mean, you had them back in the day. They couldn't pay for gas. They couldn't go on a date. You couldn't. That's why you had these $100 handshakes. Give them 20 here, give them 100 there. So the thought was good, they deserve something, but then, like I said, I'd love to have been a fly on the wall because whatever they came up with is completely out of hand.
Well, the fact that NCAA didn't come up with it.
I don't think you can reel it back in at this point. I mean, it's completely out of control. But now you've got, it's all, let's say what it is, they're professional athletes now, but now you got this disaster. I mean, Duke, for example, we're Duke basketball fans. They got Blackwell.
Not Kevin.
Well, they got Blackwell yesterday from Wisconsin in the transfer portal, okay? Well, I was told yesterday a pretty good source that kind of keeps up with it. It cost them about $6 million to get them. Yeah. I mean, you got college players now making more than their coaches. Yeah. Now, in the pros, that's been happening. And I don't know how you handle that, but now that's going down into the college rankings where you got players now probably, it's probably not very many, but you probably got some making more than their coaches.
And that's why the NIL,
it's a complete zoo.
And that's why the NIL and the transfer portal are connected because they're using the NIL to get people to
they're both completely out of control.
There has to be some. It's not going to come from the NCAA because they've lost all their teeth.
When whoever brought this up, when it was discussed, when it was voted on, I would love to have heard those conversations because they went from 0 to 90 quick.
Yeah.
It wasn't let's slowly get there and tinker with it and make some adjustments. It went from not having it to completely out of control, just like that. I don't at this point see how you can reel it back in.
Kevin?
I'll go back to what I've said before. I think I've told you guys. I know I told Jack that been a couple of years ago. I saw Pete Golding on the sidelines at the state championships, and he was over there talking with several people and several media guys, just kind of just chit chatting. And somebody asked him how the recruiting cycle was going on, and this hadn't been long after NIL had really picked up. And he's like, "Man, it's the wild, wild west out here." He said, "You think it was bad before?" He said, "It is the wild, wild west."
Yeah.
He said, "There are no rules. It is just whatever." And he's been a part of it. This dog
Yeah.
Sweeney and him going back and
Oh,
forth kind of and all that stuff. I mean, it has killed my interest. This. It has killed my interest in college football besides keeping up with our local players, because it's like I told you, you get a guy like Cam Colbin, who's a stud wide receiver for Auburn, and he's gone. Like, he's gone. The last thing you'll see of him in an Auburn uniform is fumbling the ball in the Iron Bowl. And that's it. That's his legacy that he left at Auburn. And then you have, Daniels, who transferred from Auburn to go to Florida State. He's going to be the starting quarterback there because he got a good deal. And look, my team is not out of the woods of it. I mean, USF, half their team is gone because of coach leaving and coming to Auburn.
I do want to give some breaking news. We got told this a little while ago, but I was waiting on some confirmation. Apparently, there is a lockdown currently in progress at Laurel Christian School. I did get confirmation from somebody at Laurel Police Department. I do not have confirmation of the reason for the lockdown yet, but for those of you that are watching and listening, wanted to get that breaking news out there while we can. Once I get a reason, or once we get told that the lockdown has been lifted,
School's out. Was it before they?
It was when we
students?
first started, so
Okay.
it must have been right
Wow.
before they got out, or maybe it was right as they were getting out.
Yeah.
I don't know that. All I know is there is
Right.
currently a lockdown, and I was just told yes, it is on lockdown.
Oh,
So
wow.
sharing that information with folks. Once we get more, hopefully we get more before we get off the air, we can share it with you guys then. But I was waiting on official confirmation before I said anything on that. Man, what craziness, again, we will definitely be trying to keep you guys posted. When we get more information, if we're off the air, we will try to get it up on the Laurel Leader Call website as soon as possible.
Yeah, for sure.
Again, sorry to cut you off. That
No, you're fine.
kind of one of those things. We got told right as the show was starting,
Well,
it was Facebook chatter, so I wanted to get
I did-
official confirmation.
I did coach there last season and close with some of the kids, so I'm glad to know that.
Hopefully, it's precautionary, and
I hope
there's
so,
nothing wrong, but we cannot
Right.
confirm or verify a reason yet.
Yeah.
We're waiting on that answer, to see what the reasoning might be. Because all I've been told so far is they can't release any reasons yet. So.
It might just be something in the
Yeah.
area. I mean, Chick-fil-A's right across the street and other things, so hopefully
There's a bank right across the street.
Hopefully everything's good. Yeah,
So, just crazy times that we live in. The NIL and the transfer portal aren't the only crazy things, unfortunately. If they were, we'd be much better off in the world today. So again, we'll keep you posted. I'm sure if we get something before the end of the show, we'll come back to that. I mean, where do we go here? Because it's just craziness in the world.
Yes, it
Sports is a distraction. That's part of why we enjoy doing this show, because it's probably less important than some of the other stuff that we can and do talk about at times, but it's fun. And it gives us that opportunity to check out and to sit back and just have fun. And that's why we love sports. That's why we're frustrated with the NIL and the transfer portal. And
Yes.
it's takeaway.
Speaking of that, because growing up, I love professional sports. I was, like you said, I was a big Oakland Raiders fan growing up. They were all great back, in the day. Huge Boston Celtics fan because of Coach Mack and me and Chris. And But I have not been a professional sports fan in a long, long time. And,
Apparently you are, because you're wearing an Ole Miss thing, and they're a pro team now.
well, and that's exactly what we're talking about. That's the point. That is I love college sports, but man, this NIL and transfer portal is running it.
I'm going to be honest
is.
with you, and I'm going to ask. This will be our wild card question. I wasn't going to do one, but I think that this is a simple, easy wild card question. I've become bigger fan of pro sports because they actually have structure in college football. And I used to be, with the exception of baseball. Baseball, I've always been more of a pro baseball fan than college. But now in this current world, give me the pro sports where I know you're locked into a contract.
Yeah.
I know if you signed a 1-year contract, you might be gone to the end of the year. But if you sign a 4-year contract, you're there for 4 years. I like having that structure. So again, and we'll start with you, Dog. I know right now, because you kind of already answered it, you're not necessarily there yet, but could you see yourself going back to pro sports and walking away from college? Because does it mean the same thing when the kids don't even care enough about the traditions to stay?
Yeah, it's hard because again, now as far as the sport of basketball, I've just used that as an example first as a coach. I used to tell my kids all the time, worst thing you could do for your game is watch NBA, because they're going to model themselves after NBA players, and it's gotten worse. I don't like the NBA because it's no defense and all individualism.
I'm just talking about in general.
Right, yeah. I just want to use that example first, But, I mean, I love college sports, but
as a coach, again, listen, you brought up basketball.
Right.
That's a very hard sport to get 1 year of a kid and really install anything.
That's the thing. It's ruined it because – again, I remember the heyday of Duke days, when they won back-to-back in 91, 92. Back then, and football's the same way, baseball, whatever sport you want to use, they stayed 4 years. If you're even a halfway decent, let's just take in the SEC. It don't matter what sport. If you're halfway decent, football, basketball, baseball, you're not staying more than 2 years in college. It's not happening. It's very rare. And I do not like that. No, I don't like that. Now, I'm not going to say I'm going to sit here and go back to being a pro sports guy. I love the college sports. I always have. But I do not like that. I mean, you don't stay
see
anywhere.
yourself walking away from college? Just because, what's it mean?
There is no loyalty. I will say that, and I hate that. I despise that. There's no loyalty anymore. Even if a kid might not jump straight to the pros after 1 year or 2 year, they've always got an open door looking, where else can I go? Where else can I go? Instead of, I'm committed to the school, I'm staying there.
Kevin?
Yeah, I'm all pro sports. Like I told you earlier, other than keeping up with kids that are from around here, this was the least invested that I was in basketball or football or really anything. I think the only thing that hasn't really infiltrated, maybe it's just because I don't keep as much of an eye on it as baseball. I feel like once you're there, you're there. And plus, NIL, it's important, but I don't think it's really hit baseball as much as it has hit everywhere else. If you take a team like a Duke or North Carolina, a Tennessee, where they lose their entire roster. I mean, literally, they lose their entire roster after a season. It's hard for me to keep up, at least with the NFL. Besides, certain players wanting to trade or demanding a trade, your core players are going to be there. You can get a jersey and rep it for 10 years, and it'd be okay. So I'm pro sports. Really want to read a couple of comments. We had one guy, friends of Chris Mabry Field, he said, going back to the expected #1 draft selection, Mendoza's new front man at center for the Raiders is Tyler Linderbaum. The Raiders lost the guard to the Jets, but they did have a couple of additions, so it should help shore up that line. And then Mason Strickland from South Jones, who calls himself the head coach there. He said, "Oh man, who let the dog out?"
I love it. Mason. I love Mason.
I think that should go right into
Kevin loves Mason as well. He loves him so much that we've got to hand this segment off to Kevin, so that way you can ask.
No,
Let's-
let dog in.
I want to ask. This is what it sounds like to me: is that we need to call up SWA Promotions and get Kevin and Coach
See,
Strickland in
that's
the ring.
that's why I said let's.
No, it's fine. It's fine because here's the thing. Mason, if you're still out there, if you're still scrolling Facebook, which you should be worried about your first round playoff game series that you can't decide what day you want it to be on, Mason, whether it's Thursday or Friday, maybe you should be worried about that besides who let the dog out. But I'm here to tell you, I found out from a friend of mine that when is it, May the 9th?
I believe it was May the 9th.
May the 9th, SWA is going to be at South Jones. And if you're man enough,
Here we go.
if you're man enough, Strick, I feel like because of your head coaching prowess, you may have a game, you may not have a game.
He should have a game. I mean,
He should have a
be
game, but
playoffs,
it is Mason Strickland coaching this team. You should come out to SWA, and we should have a little promo off. I think we could maybe work it out with SWA.
Dog, you know people there.
I
Dog knows
know
people
them.
there.
I know them. I say, look, I'm going to tell you, South's going to win this series, even though we
We don't pick now. You're
Look,
messing up.
look.
Dog is getting muted for trying to jump the gun.
All right.
Go ahead.
Well, you brought it up. South is going to be playing that day. We'll bump up the game to 12 or 2, and then that way he can be at the wrestling ring that night. There you go.
See, there you go. How much are you paid? Look, I'm going for nothing because you know why? Because I'll stand on my word, Strick, that I will be there.
Look, if these two have a match, I'm calling it. Somebody has to let me get behind the table.
I will
and
show
announce
up. You know, I've had the name Dog since I was like 10. It's like my real name. But for those of you who don't know, I got that name from the Junkyard Dog. I will show up that night in my Junkyard Dog t-shirt.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dog will be front row taunting
There you go.
the wrestlers. I have sat with Dog at a wrestling, and that's exactly what he does. And you're just looking at him like, really?
I don't think
fun.
even if he has his cronies out there, maybe I don't know who's a face and who's a heel. I'm just going to go after it. Maybe it's that Barry Wolf guy. Maybe it's that Hunter Rhodes guy.
I don't know who any of those people are.
I'm just saying, maybe it's one of them. You know, maybe I have some people of my own that I can go and give them a little buzz where I can have some backup. Maybe over there from West Jones. You know,
Mason might have a team that might show up with
that's
that.
fine. That's fine.
Just
I
saying.
can call up some West Jones or some Northeast Jones people. I can make it happen.
Coach Strickland might.
I don't think Van Cleve will have your back after our first
Oh,
segment.
we have multiple head coaches.
You better
in
watch
the
out for
company.
Monty Warbucks coming out in defense of Coach Strickland.
We have multiple head coaches in the chat right now. We have Northeast Jones, Hunter McKeever. He says, "Where's the popcorn at?" Strickland versus Kev. And Mason fires
love it.
back. Somebody has to pay me to take out the trash. Listen, the only thing trashy is those uniforms that you've designed that you've made those poor kids go out there and wear. That's what I'm going to say.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
And y'all thought I was being harsh. At least I was being harsh to Van Cleve.
Well,
Hey, good stuff. Good stuff.
Oh, man. Well, good. You've got a job now.
Yeah.
You've got to make this happen.
Hey, we can do it.
Tell them I want
All
to be
right.
sitting at commentary because I want to comment on these two yahoos.
I know the management well. I can give them a call as soon as we get out of
This
here.
is happening, Mason. You better be ready. This is happening.
What's the date of that again?
I believe it's May 9th.
Okay.
It's a Saturday in early May. So, yeah, we need to make this happen. And I got a bad feeling Kevin's
That'd
going
be
to
like
get
the
taken out with a steel chair.
third round. That'd be like the
Trace
third
Sutton
round
gets
of the
referee.
playoffs.
Trey Sutton is guest referee. I support this.
McKeever's just agging on. That's all he's doing.
McKeever is going to be sitting front row with Dog, I think.
There you go.
Oh,
Mercy.
goodness.
Good stuff.
Dude, I think we need to get into the playoffs a little
Okay.
bit. So we're
Yeah.
going to start with softball. Northeast Jones is a 4 seed. They're facing a 1 seed Summerall. Northeast is coming into the playoffs having lost 4 of its last 5 games, including an 11-2 loss at 8-15 Wayne County, a Wayne County team that 11-0 the last time they played, right? I mean, the team that they wiped the floor with, that was going nowhere, was able to get that win over them. Summerall holds a win over them, but it was like the second, third, or fourth game of the season. They won 5-2. Now, this is a Northeast Jones team we had a lot of high hopes for at the start of the season. The talent's there. Unfortunately, they put themselves in a really bad position to where they have to win at least one game at Summerall. It could happen. It's possible. But, you know, it's an uphill climb for these ladies. And Summerall's one of the best softball teams in the entire state, not just in 5A. It may be a hill too tall at this point. I got a bad feeling. I think they'll be able to take one, but I think they're going to lose the series 2-1. Unfortunately, I hope I get proven wrong. Dog?
My pick. Well, I'll say this, and then I'll just talk about the first one. I don't think softball in Jones County has the history or up to par of where baseball is. So
It was a late start for fast pitch.
Yeah, so I don't have a good feeling about that. So I in this first pick, Northeast Jones versus Summerall, I think it's going to be tough, 4 versus 1, and they've already played before, and Northeast is coming in kind of headed the wrong direction, so I think there might be a sweep there. I hate to say that, but that's kind of what I see.
Yep.
I think this one will go 3 games, and look, I'm a pro component of slimming the playoffs down because of 1 and 4 is usually having so much of a gap. I think there are exceptions. I think this is one.
It is.
Northeast Jones just has to play error free. That's the one thing that got them against Wayne County was errors. They had 7, I think it was, or something like that against Wayne County. They've got to play error-free ball, and that's something they struggled with. I think they'll take the one at Northeast Jones at home, being at home. But from there, I think it's Summerall. I think Summerall wins this one in 3.
Hopefully we motivate them the way we did the baseball team. So next we've got 3-seed West Jones playing against 2-seed Hancock in the 6A playoffs. West Jones finished with a 15-14-1 record after only winning 5 games in all of last season. Hancock is entering the playoffs at 12-8-1. Really and truly, this, no matter what happens in this series, this West Jones softball team should be celebrated. I mean,
Heck of a turnaround, absolutely.
10 games. I mean, it's remarkable. New head coach, got them off to a great start in his first year. It's really and truly, I'm so happy for these girls and so happy to see them succeeding the way that they did this year. I think it's a year too soon though for them to go much further. I think they might stretch it to 3, but I think Hancock knocks them out this year. So unfortunate.
Absolutely heck of a turnaround. And I do think home field is going to reign here. I do think West Jones will squeak out, win in game 2, but I think Hancock in 3. So,
yeah, I think that this turnaround has been excellent. Lane Jordan's definitely got them in the right direction. He wants to win, and they've done that this year. With that said, though, Hancock plays in a tough region where they're at. Getting the 2 seed was good for him, and it's going to pay off. West Jones was in a region that was not deep. I'll put it that way. They're very top heavy, but they still made the playoffs. They still win 15 games. I look at this as a successful season, but I am picking Hancock in the sweep.
Next, we've got the 3-seed Purvis versus 2-seed South Jones. Purvis played them earlier in the year and beat them 10-6. But that was early in the year, and teams change. We know that the Lady Braves had a goal because Kevin and I did the preview story on them. Kevin was out there taking photographs, and when we were talking to the girls and to Coach Madison Rayner, they all said their main goal this season was to get out of the first round. Right. This is a tough matchup. I mean, the They've got the home field advantage. They've had it in the past, just hadn't gotten over the hump. I'm going to let you guys. I'm going to pick last on this one since I did the preview on them. So, Dog, you go ahead and make the first pick here.
Well, I can be a homer. I am a Brave, but they do have home field advantage. I do think this is a very, very tough matchup, but I do think South has been right there in the past in softball last few years. So I do think they're going to get out. I do. I think it's going to take 3 games, but I'm going with the Lady Braves.
Kevin?
This is going to be a good one. This is a game that, man, these two teams shouldn't be meeting up in the first round.
No.
This should be a late
tough
game.
matchup.
It really is. Much love to head coach Lindsey Robinson at Purvis. I've known her for quite some time back whenever I worked in Hattiesburg. This is tough, man. I'm gonna give home field advantage the nod here. I'm gonna pick South Jones in 3.
It's all going to come down to game 1. If South can hold game 1 at home, they're in the driver's seat. Takes a ton of pressure off of them, and they can win that series. I think that they will win game 1, lose game 2, and win game 3.
You're spot on.
I'm right there with you guys.
Yeah.
I think as long as they hold serve in game 1, they'll win the series.
That game 1 is absolutely important. You're spot on with that.
So I think, and I do think they will. I think they advance to the second round. So I hope that these girls are able to achieve that goal, because I know, Kevin, it was so important to every single one of them. They weren't talking about state championship. They were talking about that. Go ahead, Kevin.
So I want to update some our people on the threat.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been confirmed that bomb threats were called to 3 schools: Laurel Christian School, Laurel Christian Elementary, and Laurel High School.
Wow.
As of 4:10 p.m., Laurel High School has released all of their students. The police chief, Earl Reed, he says the other 2 schools were expected to release soon. It's 4:21 now. Laurel police are at the scene of Laurel Christian School at the elementary school. They also have K-9 units there, and Jackson County officials, they are on their way to assist with the response. There's been nothing given on when the threats or anything were made. There's also no information on how long the schools have actually been officially on lockdown. There was a lot of chatter, but there's nothing on there.
Have they I didn't hear. Did they confirm that the threats are not credible yet, or are they still?
Well, I think they're still there. With K-9 units down there, and then they're bringing in Jackson County officials. I think they have a bomb squad, if I'm not mistaken. So they're trying to figure out all of that. So
wow.
As soon as we get off here, I'll be headed that way.
Yeah, I might be following you out there. Man, the world is insane these days.
Look, I don't even know. I'm not surprised by anything or shocked, but it's anymore, because there's so much craziness out there. It was just like every day. It's like, what else? What else? Now what?
Thank goodness it sounds like the kids are going to be okay. It sounds like, at least from that standpoint, we'll update if we get another update before the end of the show on what other schools are released. But there you have the latest information that we just got from Chief Earl Reed. So thank you for that, Kevin. Wow. Just craziness. Let's try to get through these last picks, as we can. Quick. So baseball, we're switching over now. We've got the 3-seed Picayune against the 2-seed West Jones. West Jones finished with a 6-game winning streak going into the playoffs and a 16-9 record after starting the season 0-6. Picayune comes in at 13-15. I feel like West Jones should be able to take care of this when they're at home. This is a team that has really turned around after the slow start. So give me the Mustangs to make it to round 2.
I'm with you. I'm going with West Jones in a sweep here. Yeah.
This one, I think, man, Picayune is so sneaky that region.
Scrappy.
That region was tough, man. I I'm going to pick West Jones here. I do think it'll go 3. I'm going to pick West Jones at 3.
Next, we've got the 3 seed East Central versus the 2 seed South Jones. South Jones finished with a record of 16-8 in what many thought was going to be a rebuilding year for the Braves. But they finished the season losing 3 of its last 5. 2 of those 3, of course, were against the Region 3 champion Summerall.
That's right, yeah.
You know, no shame in losing to Summerall, but that North Pike loss is questionable. So again, they're facing off against a East Central team that finished at 15-13. We've talked a lot about Region 4 and how crazy that region was. Are the Braves poised for another run? I don't know if they're poised for another run all the way to state. I do know that they've got 2 outstanding pitchers that are brothers in Walker and Beckett Johnson.
Right.
Any series that they have those 2 guys on the mound, I think the Braves have a shot at winning.
Yeah.
I think they will win in 3 in the first round and advance to the second round. Dog?
That's my pick. You know, we did, when I say we, and I'm a Brave, we did, you know, play for state last year. And I don't know about the rebuilding. I think again, baseball is so strong in Jones County and the talents at South Jones for years. I think we're going to be kind of about where you see right now, at least every year. But
Reload.
Right. But I know going East Central is tough. It is tough. This is a tough matchup. I do think South's going to pull it out, and but I think it's going to go 3 games.
Kevin?
I'm actually going to pick South in the sweep here. I'm going big on this one. I think.
Wait, are you going soft with Coach Strickland now?
I'm going because I believe in the Johnson brothers. I think that they're going to be good. I think the pitching's deep enough. Yeah, I'm giving South Jones a sweep here, and you know, Mason can rest easy at least on that front until he gets in the ring with me at South Jones.
Mason, you're gonna have to accept the challenge because he's not gonna stop. And he's got a platform to continually call you out. So I think this is gonna have to happen, Coach. I'm just saying. And now our last series, we've got number 4 Old Brook versus the 1 seed Northeast Jones. The Tigers coming in the playoffs on fire, having won 8 straight, taking the Region 4-5A crown. We famously gave them a D at the midpoint of the season because this was a team that looked lost. They really did. They took that personally, and I'm glad that they did. We never lost faith in that coaching staff and Coach McKeever or any of those guys. So I think that I think this one is definitely going to be a sweep. Old Brook comes in at 9-12. I think that the Tigers are red hot. I think they stay red hot right here in the first round. If you sweep Van Cleve with 2 of the games at Van Cleve, that tells me this team is built for a run. So give me the Tigers in a sweep.
Old Brook can't play baseball. Come on. Tigers in a sweep, no doubt on this one.
Them Tigers, baby. Them Tigers are going to sweep. They're going to go through with no problem. Old Brook ain't nothing.
They are not. They are not. Man, you know, crazy day.
Yeah.
Before we sign off, we had Guru's hat behind us, you know, and we just want to let you know, brother, we love you.
Absolutely.
And, we miss you, and you know, again, take as much time as you need. We've got Dog filling in for you when we need to, and but we do miss you. He'll be glad to give up that chair. So
yeah, I know the purple looks better here than the blue, but man, I'm here for you, brother. And whenever I need
to disrespect him by wearing Ole Miss in his chair,
I'll rub it in real good. So again, whenever I can fill in, as long as you need me, just let me know. Yeah.
Kevin, I know you held up your sign. You want to say any last words before I sign?
Absolutely, man. Just love you and praying for you guys and Guru and Reed and Marley and all them.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, just kind of recapping baseball and softball. It's going to be a busy time this weekend. I know you're going to be at South. I'm going to go hit up Northeast Jones, Brock Holyfield. He's going to be taking pictures for us.
Great kid.
Yeah, really good photographer. Way better than I'll ever be. He's going to be at South baseball and softball at Northeast, and we're going to try to figure out a way to get to West because I think they're still on for Friday. Hopefully the rain will hold off. just make sure that since our coaches are here or we're here, just bear with us because we're doing the best we can. We're
Two
running.
reporters.
Me and Jack are running the route on Fridays, and we're covering news, and you see stuff like that.
Update your game changer will help us.
Yeah.
Please
Yeah.
update your game changer.
But you see, like news is happening, and we're still doing sports, so it's a lot. But we're doing the best we can, and
Y'all doing a good job. Good job.
Well, let me sign us off because it looks like Kevin and I are about to be running out towards Laurel Christian School as soon as we get off the air. I'm your host, Jack Fairchilds, and for Kevin Lindsey.